Salibonani okhulumayo nguJulia Moyo. Ngiyalibingelela lonke. Ngiyalamukela ku-The Girls Table Podcast. Today ngizakhuluma nge-debt management e-council. Ku-debt management e-council today ngizakhuluma ngayo, ngizorefer too much to i-article eyaba khona ku-Newsday on the 10th of July 2019. On this article, the article reveals that local authorities could lose izigidi ezimali eziningi due to poor collection structures. Njengokuchazwa yi-government audit, u-auditor general uMedley kuripoti yakhe yomnyaka wasichazela njalo ukuthi i-poor governance and non-compliance with statutory regulations yizo imbangela ezenza kube nje. According to i-report ka-Mildred Shiri, iCholocho was so much exposed for not having a payroll schedule okwayenza ukuthi i-fraud ibe lula. Wakhuluma ngama-weaknesses ukuthi ayenza ukuthi izimali zingahambi ngendlela eyiyo, anjengokuthi kule poor governance lokuthi abantu abalandeli ama-statutory regulations, abantu abalandeli izinto abazitshelwayo, or we can say abantu they don't follow ama-regulations abaphiwayo. That's why kugcina sokusiba lokulahleka kwenzuzo ikakhulu kuma-councils amaningi. In my podcast today ngizajoyina ngubaba uStevenson. Baba uStevenson, ngizacela ukuzi-introduce, uzisho ukuthi ungubani, uvela ngaphi, sazane kuze siqhubeke ngale podcast yanamhlanje.
Okhulumayo nguStevenson Dlamini, ngumqeqeshisi ekolishini elikhulu nakubulawayo i-National University of Science and Technology ku-Department ye-Banking and Economic Sciences, lapho ngiqeqeshisa khona isifundo zomnotho, i-Applied Economics.
Okay, Mr. Stevenson, it is my honor to meet you. I'm very happy that I've met you today. Thank you so much. Now that sisazana, umbuzo wami uthi, what are the strategies that can be implemented to ensure that outstanding debts are effectively collected kuma-councils ethu?
Xa sokusiza endleleni zokucollecta ama-debt ngendlela ezenza ukuthi ama-councils abe viable, into yokuqala is to make sure ukuthi ama-residents understand why they need to pay. Is to make sure that even the business community has a buy-in in terms of why they need to pay, by matching a service delivery to a cost of those rates. Because once there's no buy-in, there's no political will from abantu to pay, because they are not seeing the benefits of the services abayiphiwa council, it's difficult to convince them to pay. So I think what is important is to ensure that you give them a service quality that would make them want to pay, and have a buy-in. Start from the local leadership, talk to them, make them understand the significance of those rates and the services and the plans that the council wants to have. Let there be transparency in how the revenues are used. Imali collectwa yona lana kayikhulunywe, imali ezitholakala from McDonald's display lapha, ngoba le transparency zothola abantu bayakhulula ukubhadala, ngoba abantu just like abantu bengafuna ukubhadala ama-taxes, they will tell you ukuthi asiboni i-quality service. So I think the most effective way is to ensure that there is transparency in the use and there is a buy-in from our local authority, our local leadership.
Okay, baba, okay. Ngiyazwisisa uyicaqadile indlu ekhathini. Manje ngoba usewulistile ama-strategies of effectively collecting ama-debts asilelayo, bengicela ukuzwisisa lapha ukuthi what are the current procedures for debt management in local authorities?
So the current strategies for debt management kuma local authorities, they involve sending notices on the bills that people owe. Yokuthumela incwadi ukuthi ukuthi hayi lesikweleti esinje. Nxa sesihlale kakhulu, the next thing they usually do is engage in a court system, a small claims court, kusiya ngokuthi isize yesikweleti sakho singanani. They will summon you onto that. Further, if that debt persists and you don't turn up, then sokusiba the option of attaching property to recover that debt. Of course, they would have started off by closing a service delivery, ukuvala amanzi, but that has proven not to be effective. If bengakuvalela amanzi babone awubhatali, the next thing they have to do is to send you summons that instruct you to pay that by a particular date, and if you default on that, then it escalates to attach your property so that they can auction and get back their money. These are the current strategies, because we have a legal recourse omele bayisebenzise kunendlela esemthethweni omele bayilandelele uthi ihambe court iyelwisa kuphumela ama-strategy. Kwesinye isikhathi njalo enye strategy ekhona yokuthiwa i-payment plan. Uyafika laphana ubonisane le council utsho ukuthi engikwanisa ukuwubhadala ngokungaka ngizabe ngikhipha imali engaka per month, ngenyanga ngizabe ngikhipha imali engaka, enze ngiclear for every money yabe ngibhadala for the current, ngiyabe ngibhadala futhi le sikweleti. Yiyo kuthiwa yi-payment plan. They will restructure isikweleti sakho.
All right. I hear you are talking about ama-summons as part of debt collection. You are talking also about uthatha kwama-properties. You are talking about ama-payment plans. But is there any transparency in the debt collection process?
When it comes to transparency, I would say there is no sufficient transparency in terms of a billing system. But by the time they use estimates angikhona yabuzibuza ukuthi bawathethe ngaphi. Estimates are not accurate by their very nature. Ukucabangela kunakanele ukuthi ngwabanje so there is no transparency. If there was transparency, it will go beyond just giving me a billing system. Kumele ungitshengise ukuthi ngiconsume engaki over what I've known ukuthi abanye abantu have gone there to question ama-bill abo and actually collected their own data, but tell ukuthi they are overcharged, they are overbilled. So there's no transparency in that. We need greater transparency, especially beyond debt collection. They just tell us ukuthi debt keeps on growing this much, but how much is being repaid every month? We're not getting those statistics. We're getting statistics on how the debt is growing, and none is showing at least is there an improvement in revenue collection, and let that be reflected even in my budgets, is proposed budgets. I change is there an improvement? Yes, kwesinye isikhathi ama-budgets do reflect ukuthi i-debtors portfolio improve kanjani, but these are all estimates as well, like I said, which makes us question the transparency.
Stevenson, yeah, talking about transparency, that seems not to be existing in councils. Ngikuze ukhuluma ngama-estimates ukuthi ama-figures abuyikho, ama-figures are-straight. Wazokhuluma ukuthi abantu they should be given ama-billing systems which are accurate. Ukhuluma futhi la ngokuthi abantu abanye they feel like they are being overcharged nxa sebephiwa i-billing system yabo. So in your own opinion, what can be taken to ensure revenue collection and debt management processes are open to public scrutiny? Ngoba abantu kumele at the end bazizwe labo bethabile bejabulile, yonke into nje bayibone inganthiwa i-open to i-public scrutiny, or singathi ibe open to i-public discussion, bekwazi ukuthi be-understande, bazwisise, babe lo mbono ofananayo lama-councils. So what can be taken to ensure that revenue collection and debt management processes are open to i-public scrutiny?
Just make sure there is transparency with debt collection and as well as a revenue collection. We need a symbiotic relationship. Sesifuna ubudlelwano lwabana obuphucukileyo phakathi kwabakhokheli besigaba nabakhokheli bama-local authorities, especially ama-rural district councils. Let there be a greater participation, because ama-researches esiwenzayo have shown that there is very limited participation by a rural community ku-budget development process, especially kuma-RDC. That makes revenue collection difficult, and i-council ibe clear ukuthi kuma-business enterprises ayo ewaranayo ithola how much revenue. because most of the statistics esiwathola ku-revenue collection is how much they collect from our rates, but how much are they making from their own businesses, like ama-beer gardens abo, like ama-farms abo? How much are they? We need that disclosure so that we see what proportion is financed through our rates. We need to see how much of the donor funding comes in to show ukuthi i-revenue collection vele yona imi njani portfolio yankhona. So we need improvement there by engaging ama-local leadership who will then mobilize abantu, train the trainer, train the local leadership to go and train and communicate more effectively lama-constituencies abo, ukuze lawo ama-constituencies azwisise ukuthi kati sikhiphelani imali leyo, kanti masibhadala izikweleti lezi, is there an improvement in my service delivery, kumbe yabelakhe mbona kunjalo kodwa kuthiwa bhadala. So we need to incentivize people. The more we open up ama-expenditures ethu, ama-reports ethu, because we know ukuthi ama-local authorities submit reports every month on how they are utilizing their funds. Can we have those reports being made public and more transparent? That way we can have improved accountability and transparency kuma RDCs. Let them honor up. Without us requesting, let them call us. Let them avail to the local leadership. The local leadership will then communicate to everyone, which I cancellate. Isizame yafika laphana ile nhlelo ezinje so. I'll tell you, there will be a better buy-in. Sizabone improvement kundlela esisebenza ngayo kuma-local authorities.
Wow, this was an insightful discussion, Mr. Stevensons. Siyabonga ukuba lawo. I think I have learned a lot, and people also will learn a lot from this discussion. It was a pleasure meeting you. Siyafisa ukuhlangana lawe futhi kwelizayo. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you again, listeners, for having your time listening to this audio. Please don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms that include Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You are invited to follow us more on our podcast on the social media and like our pages on Facebook. Thank you.
This project was made possible through a partnership between USAID Zimbabwe and ZimCord. The podcast is made possible by the generous support of the American people through United States Agency for International Development Zimbabwe. The contents are the responsibility of the Girls Table and do not necessarily reflect the views of USAID or the United States government.